Hey podcaster, I'm Tim Wahlberg, your podcast performance coach, with another actionable tip so you can sound like a pro and gain more podcast fans. Today's tip is how to do a best of show. Radio stations don't just shut down when talent takes a break or during the holiday season. I've produced a lot of best of radio shows during my radio days. We call it holiday programming. Enter the best of shows. Do not discount these shows. I believe you should have at least one of these shows per year. They will no doubt become one of your most listened to episodes. And why wouldn't they? Listeners love them. Heck, I love them. They offer up a quick dose of you at your best. They showcase your most interesting guests and or engaging topics. And if executed correctly, this best of show will act as the perfect conversion tool for a new listener. Subscribe. Think about that. If someone discovers your podcast out of the blue and they want a taste of you and your show, it's the perfect sampler. Come on, it's the best of. No one wants to hear the worst of your show. Here's the time when I introduced my guest. His name was Don, but I called him Tom. Oh, remember this classic moment when the music drowned out me and my guest for the first 30 minutes? Hilarious! And how could we forget when I forgot to hit record? Come to think of it, those moments would be a pretty funny blooper show. Which could also be a very popular show. Hold on a second, I gotta write that down. New idea. Blooper show. How to make a blooper show. Okay, back to my original point. Best of shows. They're great. But don't be fooled. They're not as easy as you think. This isn't a day off. These best of shows can sometimes be more work than a regular show. But remember, they're worth it. Now, in your head, I'm sure you can think of 5 great moments or segments you could pull together out of all of your episodes for a best of show. Are you thinking about a couple of come to mind already? Okay, you got a couple more. You could probably dig a little bit deeper. Now, if you're doing a weekly podcast in 6 months, you'd have roughly 25 episodes. If you have less than that, you probably shouldn't be doing a best of show yet. So, how do you determine what makes your best of show? One way is to look at your most popular episodes. Go into your podcast stats and have a look. Which topics are resonating with your audience? Repackage them. Consider a theme for your best of show. Maybe it's productivity. Tim Ferriss does this really well. He'll take just the productivity tips he gets from his guests and repackage them as one episode, the best of productivity episode. Other ideas for your show could come from your listeners. If you've got a really engaged Facebook community or an email list, poll them. Ask everyone what their favorite episode was. You might be surprised which ones they choose. Repackage them. And don't discount the fact that you've produced, starred in, and listened to every single episode of your podcast. Trust yourself. These can be the best moments of your podcast, in your opinion. Maybe it's the top 5 things you've learned and use every day. Or the top 10 takeaway show. Have some fun with it. Couple of things to remember. Keep your listener in mind. This show is for them, not for you. Remember to deliver on your promise. And always reference the full episode by number and title. So if your listener wants more than just that awesome little clip you played, they want the entire episode, they know how to find it. And when you're repackaging and presenting your best of show, you still need a proper intro and extra for this episode. Don't just run 5 clips back to back. Off the top, tell your listener what inspired you for this show, other than you were out of ideas and no one called you back. And put each clip in context. Introduce the subject and why you picked it, including the name and title of your guest if you have one. Then get right to the gold when it comes to that clip. You might intro it this way. Dr. Penny said this when I asked her about her morning routine. Boom, then your clip starts. Then at the end of it all, sum things up with a little recap and call to action. Most likely, the subscribe action is what you should be asking for at the end of this episode. Now, doing a best of show will no doubt remind you that you need to do a better job of keeping episode notes. What do I mean by that? Well, have a working document with show ideas or noteworthy episodes or great best of clips that you feel could make the cut of your next best of show. Even mark the times down if you need to. Stay really organized moving forward from your next episode onward. I hope this has helped you consider doing a best of show and how to pull it off. Remember the purpose of the best of shows. They should showcase your best work, create mad value for your listener, and become a perfect promotional sampler of what the rest of your episodes have to offer. And I hope that's just the tip you need. And speaking of subscribing, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to Just the Tip right now? And let me say thank you if you have already subscribed, or if you're going to subscribe in the next few moments. I thank you very much. All your favorite listening platforms are on my website when subscribing. Just pick your fave, and if it's not there, tell me and I'll make it happen. Visit podcastperformancecoach.com/podcasts. I'm Tim Walbert. See ya!